Merrimack, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. We're live on Radio Row, all brought to you by our friends at LifeBridge Health Sports Medicine Institute out of Foundry Row, letting the professionals take care of you. I forgot my Stan Stasiak arm thing, but I am going to bring that in here. Probably going to need that for some of these defensive linemen I'm going to have on. This guy has become a friend of mine over the years here on Radio Row. He's in a similar space of motivation that I like to live in from time to time. David Meltzer is a longtime sports agent, now works in getting people motivated, making the world a better place, being unstoppable and creating the life you love, along with Jack Canfield, who I've read a lot of that work. Dude, I spent a week in a convention hall like this lockdown with Tony Robbins last month, doing Date with Destiny. You know, I did a firewalk in 94. I know you've done a lot of this work. You're with Gary Vaynerchuk later this week, who I'm looking forward to getting onto the show as well. You know, we're at a different time and space here, right? Trying to keep ourselves together, especially at 50, and saying, what's left in life for me, you know?
Yeah, and my whole life changed. I actually, for my 50th birthday last year, if you remember, I did 50 birthday parties for charity. Did this book for charity with Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, over 500 million books sold.
A lot of chicken soup out there with Jack's name on it,
yeah,
right?
I just feel that, you know, there's too many people that put faith in the wrong things. And I was blessed to be with Joel Osteen on Sunday, and he'll be here Friday, by the way. And, you know, if people can learn to put faith into the right things and really manifest the right things, we can change things very quickly. And so many times we're putting faith in all the wrong things, and we're getting the wrong things and wondering why we're stuck. And it's one of the most common questions when I do business coaching. You know, I'm blessed. This year I coached C.J. Anderson, which was one of my greatest success stories because, you know, came after being released for a second time in the season. He kind of had moved on from this season into next. And he wanted to – I said, well, hold on a second. Let's put faith into something else. Let's look at the Chargers, who I love. Let's look at the Rams, the KC. Those teams need players right now. And are you ready to step in? You keep on telling me these teams didn't understand the talent you had and what you were able to do, and put faith into that. And the minute he got home, one day later, phone call immediately. And most people don't know, all three teams wanted him.
So if you're out on Facebook Live now or YouTube, you'll see sports agent David Meltzer. You know, there's a part of being a sports agent that, you know, I guess if you go back to Jerry Maguire, even your background with Lee, who will also be here later on this week, that there's a part of that you really are the coach of the player. You have to be the cheerleader and the supporter and the big brother. And that's, you know, it's money, 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 money. We're going to get the money. I'm going to beat the owner up to get the best contract, and we're going to get you the deal with, you know, brand X or brand Y. But more than that, it's when you drop the game-winning pass, or when things don't go well, or when you break a leg, or you have whatever it is,
addictions,
right?
obsessions. I mean, why I spun off with Warren Moon was I didn't like that side of it. I have a law degree, and I'm a fairly good negotiator. I like the abundant side of sports. I like the fact that my 8-year-old son, his life is going to be changed if C.J. Anderson tells him the same lessons I try to show him. Right? When Evander Holyfield said on his PSA, "Real men don't hit women," people listened, right? And I want to inform and empower those people who have the eyeballs and the ears of the young people today to say, hey, if you think positive. I was with Eric Dickerson this morning, and he's a great icon for just being positive. I asked him, what's the best thing you've done to build such a great brand even after you've done playing? He basically said, I was kind. Like all those people with the Fisher incident, you know, way back when, all those people I signed autographs for, I never realized – took pictures with and was nice to.
Oh, it was an incredible movement. You know, Jeff Fisher and Eric Dickerson won that war.
Yeah, because he was nice.
Well, because people liked him more, right? Because
exactly.
they had a touch with him, you know. You're out in L.A., and I know you're partners with Warren Moon. You do all this stuff. I do want to talk to you about the work you're doing above and beyond sports, because I think this is where you're real. That's what lights you up here,
yeah,
right?
You know.
So, yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, that's what's lighting me up right now. I'm about to make a move. You know, our city's struggling right now.
Yeah.
And you know, leadership is one of those things that we all allegedly gravitate toward, but I don't, you know, people say they want to be led, but I see communities really struggling, and someone needs to lead. in some of these, in every community that's struggling in our country.
Yeah, and if you look at the difference, we call some people influencers because they have a big following, right? I do a lot on the internet,
Sure.
And you'll have Gary on later, who's my mentor in how to attack this space, right? No one, in my opinion, is smarter. He's the Lee Steinberg of social media. He knows how to take advantage of it. But here's the difference between, let's say, a Joel Osteen and a Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian has 10 or 100 times more followers than Joel Osteen. But if Joel Osteen asked his audience to rise up for goodness or for something powerful, they would rise. Kim Kardashian, all she can do is sell lipstick. People won't, there's no emotional attachment. It's surface, it's shallow, and we need more leaders like you, Nestor, that have, even if it's a smaller audience at first, it grows because your frequency touches people emotionally, and people buy on emotion for logical reasons. And when there's
I studied love marks. There's one thing to be loved and respected. That's a different place than
Admire.
Just I like your food or
Admire.
I like your product.
Yeah,
right,
there's
sure.
a different admiration and empowerment. And I think when the best thing about the internet for me, and I put a lot of content out, is it's amazing the effect it has. I get all types of DMs and emails and people stopping me at the airport now saying, "Hey man, you changed my life." And I'm thinking, how did I change your life?
So I locked down with Tony Robbins for 7 nights with Date with Destiny, and I got a big old book of all. So people said, like, right now, what's the takeaway? And I'd say 6 weeks later, my takeaway into this year is to try to find as many good people as I can find while weeding out various bad people, because they will eat your garden, right? Like literally, the weeds will eat your garden. And I find it interesting on social media. I always refer to it as my pool, right? Like, so everybody can come to the pool, right? But you don't get a second chance to pee in anyone's pool. You pee in my pool, my mom's in the pool, my son's in the pool, my friends are in the pool, right? I'm not going to politely ask you to leave and say maybe the next time you shouldn't doing that. I'm going to find better people for my pool, right?
Right.
So that's what 2019 is about for me. So people ask me, you went and did this all-night thing and you thought about, you strategized and what you're going to do with your life. I say, yeah, I just, the first thing starts with getting the bad people out and getting the good people in.
Can I extend on that a little bit?
Sure.
I've obviously worked with Tony Robbins a lot, and he's actually coming on my podcast, which I'm super excited about.
When's that happening?
In March.
Where are we finding your podcast? Tell everybody where to find that.
The Playbook. It's a top 5 business.
The Playbook.
Yeah, you can find it on Entrepreneur, iTunes, wherever. It's pretty out there.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
I want to be a guest on your podcast.
please. Yeah, let's do that.
I do. I want to be on your
Bradley's
podcast.
right there. So, but here's where I extend it. It's more than just people. I think it's ideas. I think that if the same thing with your pool analogy applies to, I'm not going to let any bad ideas in my pool, right? Whether it's from movies, podcasts,
well, that's
news.
all negative thoughts, negative emotions.
Exactly.
They will rot your soul.
Yeah, as much as people will, too. People will more manipulate you as well, and I try to keep myself a motivator, not a manipulator.
But don't manipulate yourself into
Correct.
negative emotions, Like, why would you think that way,
Right, exactly.
What good's that going to do?
Cancel that out.
David Meltzer's here. Be Unstoppable, how to create the life you love. You can find him out on the internet. A couple David Meltzers out there, I knew the wrestling David Meltzer
Yeah,
first,
we get
right?
caught. Yeah, we get caught up as a mistake all the time, which is really fun for me when they start talking. I was with Hulk Hogan last weekend. They started talking. He thought I was the other Dave Meltzer. I said, no. I'm the sports agent, the philanthropist.
Tell me what you are right now with Vaynerchuk and with this space, because younger people are gravitating toward Gary Vee. I read Crush It, 8-10 years ago. I was actually at an event that he spoke at that was a very intimate thing in New York before he was Gary Vee. He was just it was the first time I had become familiar with him, and I'm talking about in a room of 50 people.
Yeah.
And obviously I've done a lot of stuff with Tony Robbins over a quarter of a century, doing the fire walk in 1994 and all these years later. But I think that people do gravitate toward not guru worship, in the Robbins way, but wanting more information to help their real lives that maybe they didn't get at community college or in high school or from their family, or they're not getting it from politics or at their dinner table or even where they work, where a lot of people have this separation of church and state and religion and all these tough conversations to have that Gary and somehow Tony managed to drop a few F-bombs in that we're not allowed to have. We can have them on the internet, but just not on the FCC, that speak to people and get people out of bed in the morning with something that's not religious, that's more educational, right, and more spiritual for your soul.
Yeah, there's skills, knowledge, and desire, inspiration. Those are the three things that Tony, Gary, and I use Gary as a mentor to teach me.
Give me that again. Skills, desire?
Skills, knowledge, and then inspiration, desire.
Okay.
Right? And those are the three things that they're able to articulate to people. Here's the skill sets that I use in order to fulfill my life. And I believe life is fulfilled with profitability, passion, and purpose. And that's why I make a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. And what they do very well. And
that's P's, profitability, passion,
and purpose. Yeah, and that creates
I need friggin' notes. Anybody got a pen? I need a pen.
And, it's really fun for me because, it flashes to me. You were one of the people here you're at the pre-chasm of Gary Vee and Tony Robbins before, Gary's probably the biggest guy in the entrepreneurial space. And I'm learning how to do that, but I sit here going, I'm on my fifth.
That doesn't mean I like the Jets, by the way.
Yeah, me neither. Although I'm eating Tannenbaum later. You're there, and you and I hit it off at front. I had 200 followers last year. Right, I had 40 million viewers on my TV show. Millions of people download my podcast. My Instagram alone has 225,000 followers. And we had this conversation. You had a lot of conversation. You probably don't remember. Last Super Bowl, I'm starting to build my Instagram. And I barely
you found me at a weird space. You found me. My wife was fighting for her life, I think, when I met you.
Yeah, very much so. And we hit it off. And I think, too, that you have the capability, and Gary had said this to me, and I want to inspire you. You're right on the cusp. I call it a quantum shift. To be able to take and own it, right? Forget crush it. You need to own it and say, look, I have a platform, and build that brand to help people because you have the skills, the knowledge, and desire over all the experiences that you had to share with other people so that when they wake up in the morning and say to themselves, how do you stay inspired every day, right? With all the S stuff that's happened in your life, the stuff. We've all had bad things happen.
Everyone.
And you've had some great challenges, and so have I. But people want to learn, hey, how do I create a setup from every setback that you've had, right? And that's what they want to know. And Gary's done it in building a business, and Tony obviously can articulate it. I'm getting good at it, but I think you have that skill set, and I would really encourage you, and if you want to use me as a mentor to get there, I'll pass it down from Gary as well because it really works, and you can change lives.
David Meltzer is our guest. He says sports agent. What do you want to call your philanthropist?
No,
but I mean, we all have to go through these titles, right?
Like, I'm the CEO that travels the world helping people.
Dude is priest, I think, is where we are.
Executive coach.
Being unstoppable, and you have a home hub out there as well with Warren Moon. So there's a football side of this as well. And I've been reading more books this last year. I'm the last guy still writing and reading books, but the Tom Brady thing. Look, the cheating part, and I say it's Super Bowl lie, L-I-I-I, which is maybe where we are with taking air out of footballs and whatnot, but there is an amazing part of this, I think, for anybody that's been following the narrative that maybe missed out on Michael Jordan or missed out on whatever that Cal Ripken, Tony Gwynn, Southern Cal, yeah, there you go. I mean, Gwynn was my guy, right?
Good.
I visited the statue a few weeks ago when I saw the Chargers.
Nice.
I went out, there was a dead pigeon
behind it.
You got to
call me, man. You got to call me.
I drove up to Dana Point. First off, I wanted to honor the Chargers. I wanted to honor my favorite Aunt Jane, who passed away many years ago. I spent a lot of my childhood in San Diego, and I had never been on one at Dana Point. So I went up to L.A. to Carson. So I spent 2 days in San Diego in a gas lamp for old times thinking, by the way, they're pissed at the Chargers.
Right? Oh, you hate them. Talk to Scott Kaplan.
Yeah, all right. I did talk to Scott Kaplan, as a matter of fact. I did. I saw Scott. So I got off on one in Dana Point, and I took one up. And I had never seen Huntington Beach with the dogs and I had never been through Laguna to see the art community there and the cliff. I just had never done it. And I got out of the car in Huntington with an old friend and had some Sancho's tacos. I popped a cap in them. And it was delicious. And then I drove up, and I'm like, why have I never driven this road before? I liked it so much I drove it again going down to see my cousin in Carlsbad. So I'm now going to do it again on I'm coming up to the Rose Bowl to see the Stones on Mother's Day weekend.
I'll be there. I'm on the board of the Rose Bowl. I'll be at the Stones. We'll have to see. And stop.
He just got me tickets. He didn't know it, but he just got me tickets.
That's fine. You got it.
We'll hang with Mick and the Stones at the Rose Bowl.
But stop right there. I'm right there. My first house was right there in Dana Point in Monarch Beach right there.
Whoa.
So I thought the question was going to be, when I was driving up the one, I thought to myself, why do I live in Baltimore? Did that cross your
That
mind?
never occurred to me at all. David Meltzer here, sports agent, philanthropist, buddy pal. You're doing some stuff with Gary Vee here this week, like lifting people up, right?
Yeah, we're doing a big event with him and doing some business coaching. I've done a pretty good job of branding myself on the executive speaking, coaching, and author tour, and Gary's been a great help.
You're going to get C.J. Anderson a crib when this is all over with?
He doesn't need one, man. He is an entrepreneur at heart. He's a better entrepreneur than he is a football player even. He's amazing.
And you're all Ramsed up here? Like everyone from
I'm a Chargers.
You're a Charger
fan.
guy.
I'm
really?
just loyal. I love CJ. I love Eric Dickerson, but
there's no Chargers Rams
I
rivalry at
know.
all.
But I'm a Saints. I went to law school in New Orleans. I like Drew Brees. I'm a more player-oriented NFC guy, but that guy's a huge Rams fan.
Dickerson.
I love Eric Dickerson.
You know why I don't like the Rams? Stan Kroenke. On behalf of Howard Balzer, all my friends in St. Louis, I had my team stolen, and then we had to go steal another team.
Yeah, you did.
It dirties up your soul a little bit, you know what I mean?
I get it.
It does. I mean, we all want a clean soul, you know what I mean?
It is impossible. Let's clean it up.
You can always sanitize your soul. You know how you do that? I'm sorry.
Forgiveness.
When it works.
Oh, now you're...
Right? Right?
Oh, forgiveness is key. Gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and effective communication.
The song was written by J.D. Souther, right? The Heart of the Matter, right?
Yeah.
Been trying to get down to the heart of the matter, right?
Yeah,
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness is key.
Even if you don't love me anymore.
Yeah.
You can forgive me.
I love this.
There it is, man. David Meltzer, Be Unstoppable, How to Create the Life You Love, along with Jack Canfield, who bring me some soup for my soul next time we stop by, all right?
I'll see you at the Rose Bowl.
Tell Gary V, I want a piece of him here, now. The Jets.
Can't get any better.
All right, see you, man.
Thanks, Nestor.
David Meltzer joining us here on Radio Row. It's all brought to you by our friends at Lifebridge Health Sports Medicine Institute at Foundry Row in Owings Mills. They're fixing my elbow, and they'll fix my soul as well. Appreciate their support and sponsorship. We'll get back to Dr. Kevin Crutchfield.